right. Oh, we gotta get him on board.
All right.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Brochachos Podcast. I am co-host Levi Silva, and this is the other co-host, AJ Red.
What's up, you guys? What is that?
I did it on purpose.
Hey, what's up? Well, so when this is uploaded, this will be Saturday, and we had just recorded this during the weekend of 19.1. So we want to do our own little quick recap on 19.1, and again...
Before we talk about 19.1, if you haven't already, please do show your support. Like, subscribe, comment, tell your friend about it, share, and...
let's comment what you want our next topic to be about.
Oh, there you go, yeah. Do that.
Yeah, that'll help us out a lot, actually.
Please do. And our IG handle is at TheBrochachos Podcast. And my personal handle is at gold and silva _
At Alexander_Red Jr.
There you go.
Give us a follow. Show some love.
19.1 is done and dusted.
Yeah. That was a 15-minute AMRAP of 19 wall balls and 19 calories on the rower. All things I hate. Anything more than 10 minutes. Anything involving a wall ball. And anything involving a rower.
Seriously, dude. That's like the worst workout for you.
Yeah, no. I got such a bad score, and then because I did it on Thursday, right? So I was like, I made a lot of mistakes already. It's already a bad workout for me, and then just seeing everyone go through it with some tips that we've kind of figured out, and it's like nothing new. It's just reminding everyone tips because we always coach them on how to row properly, how to pace, and all that stuff, and. I don't know, when you're the first one to do a workout, that kind of all goes out the window.
Yep, it's just go hard and that's it.
Like, there's no strategy. No one went before me. It was just go hard. Everyone's watching. You got 20 plus people watching you do the workout. And and I know I can get a better score, but I choose not to do that workout again. I will not do that workout again. It wasn't
as miserable as other open workouts, but
yeah,
just the constant repetition.
Yeah.
It's fatiguing.
Yeah, very quad fatiguing.
It was ass fatiguing for me.
For
dude,
me,
my ass is still hurting.
Oh my god.
I didn't feel it in my quads till when I redid it today. When I did it on Friday, I was surprised. Like, everybody complained about the quads. Like, dude, I'm not feeling my quads. Like, I think it's because I was so fresh. I got sore later. But I didn't feel in my quads till, like the next day or something.
Really? During the whole thing, my quads started to just lock it up. After, like, the third round, I was just...
Really? The third round?
I just couldn't move my quads to, like, fully extend on the row or... Because you do wall balls. I don't know. I've been feeling my quads a little lately, and I just kind of went off a squat cycle a few weeks ago. I probably haven't fully recovered from that. But, yeah.
Well, you probably don't, because you know what it is? You probably don't row with your posterior. You row with your quads.
Yeah.
We're supposed to row like you deadlift. So.
But I don't have a good deadlift either, so.
Anyway, so I did 19.1 first time around. Really happy. I did better than I aimed for. And after I was done, I was like, man, I feel like I had more in the tank. I need to redo it. So I aimed really high this time. Instead of going conservative, getting a few more reps, I aimed really high. I went for a pace that I knew that was going to be suicide, and I was like, screw it, I'm going to send it. And I sent it. I got a worse score today. It hurt really bad.
That workout sent it back, bro.
My legs hurt, my ass hurt, my ego hurts the most. But anyway, done and dusted, 19.2, here we come. I have a feeling it's going to be a triplet, and it's gonna have a distance, some type of distance, like, maybe a lunge, maybe a handstand walk.
I hope they bring handstand walks back.
Maybe a jump.
Interesting.
Burpee broad jumps.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting. You know what? You just never know, dude. Like 5 foot increments.
That could work because
you could do that.
Because they introduced the concept of distance.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago, yeah.
With the lunge. Maybe... No, 2 years ago.
When was the one with the lunge overhead? The overhead lunge, chest to bar.
I think that's 2016.
Bar over burpee.
That made 2016.
Okay.
Maybe.
For me, that was one of the most worst open workouts I've ever done. That includes all the 0.5s. That one, for some reason, wrecked the shit out of me, dude. Like, brutal. I remember, like, just being there, like, dude, this is one of the worst open workouts I've ever done. Mm-hmm. It was a 20-minute AMRAP.
Yeah.
Dude.
I remember
that's
that one.
right. Oh, my gosh. All right, moving on. That's enough about CrossFit stuff. I know that probably only interests the people who would come to the box or people who do CrossFit. Moving on. Actually, no, this is more about CrossFit.
It's more about the box, too.
It's more about the box, because today, I will interview AJ, and I'm gonna ask him a bunch of stuff for you guys to get to know him better. People at Carson CrossFit, or even in the CrossFit world, know AJ as, you know, the guy who tried Olympic lifting, he had potential, and now he coaches all the time. And he has the phrase of, you know, what's it called? What's that? Oh, he has a phrase. I can't believe it's slipping.
All right, you guys.
Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, you guys. Everybody knows that, you know, that's AJ's coin, his coin phrase.
Yeah.
And lately he's been saying beautiful. That's
beautiful.
New. He's changed it to beautiful.
I say both. I say
yeah,
both.
So everybody at the box... Carson CrossFit knows AJ as the guy who coaches, the guy who says, all right, you guys, the guy who signs me up, the guy I ask for help when, you know, I can't do my snatch right. But, yeah, there's more behind it than that. I just thought that today you guys should get to know him a little better, because I feel like it's pretty cool when you get to know somebody more personally rather than just professionally. And you guys watching this podcast don't have to take him on a date, or don't have to you know,
go grab some coffee.
Go grab some coffee to get to know him, because you're gonna get to know him a little bit through this episode of the Brochachos Podcast. So, first question right from the bat is, how do you even get into CrossFit?
CrossFit. Okay, well. So, how I got into CrossFit was through the previous owner, who is actually my uncle, Dustin Jurunia. Sorry if I messed up your last name.
That's fine.
But, yeah, he got me into CrossFit because he was always into fitness. And you guys may know him now, and your newer members may know who Dustin is when he shows up and stuff. But back in the day, man, he was a beast. I mean, he's still a beast. He has a beast mentality, but... Physically.
He has a beast mentality.
Yeah,
but
physically. Physically, he was a specimen back in the day, man. He was a stud. But anyways, he like met my aunt, all this stuff, and then like around like high school, after I graduated high school, he invited me over to the beach to do his Saturday workouts. He always went there every Saturday. Like even on his wedding day, he went there to work out.
Really?
Yeah, man.
Fucking Dustin, dude.
Yeah. And he was all this like kettlebells, like odd object training, like
Dustin loves that
unconventional type training. Yeah, like he was like all that stuff. And then people would even ask him in the streets or even in the gyms, like, "Hey, you doing CrossFit?" Had no idea what CrossFit was. He was like, yeah, sure." He got like enough people asked him, and he was like, "You know what? Fuck it, I'll just say yeah." So, and then he got into CrossFit through who is now the current co-owner, Justin. So remember, Dustin was the one who was here first, and Justin is here now.
They're both white, and they're both married to a Filipino woman, and they both owned or has owned a box.
Yeah, they're like the same person.
They're like the same
different
person. And their names are so close by one letter.
Yeah. And they both married my aunt, by the way.
Yeah, that's so fucking weird.
Yeah, my grandma calls them Ustin.
Just in case.
She's Ustin. Just in case she doesn't mess up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Justin got into CrossFit first. A year prior, I want to say before Dustin did. And then he invited Dustin out to a competition that he was doing. And Dustin fell in love with the whole competitive field. Not a competitive thing, just the whole community. Everyone cheering you on. They were like carrying barbells on the back. Dustin loved it. And you know how Dustin gets when he's excited, man. So they decided to get their L1s together. And so they got their L1s. And then I became Dustin's guinea pig in his garage gym.
So that's how you started.
That's how I started with CrossFit. So that you know, obviously my story started how they got started. But so he would bring me to his garage gym. I would work out every once in a while. I would visit because I was living in Apple Valley at the time. A little bit after high school or during high school and stuff. And then when I moved down here, he got me into the garage gym a little bit more, and I started to enjoy it a little bit more. And then once he opened up Carson CrossFit, I decided to run with it a little bit more. I became more committed to the lifestyle, and I started training like every day. And the reason behind I started training every day was not because I wanted to get good at CrossFit or anything, was because I started to feel a lot healthier with my life. Because what was I gonna say? I have I have a history where, you know, I was just like kind of doing my own thing, you know, having fun and not really prioritizing my life and health.
Okay.
And then once I started getting into fitness or CrossFit, I started noticing different strides in health and decided to put that aside and decided to go with my health. And that's how I got into CrossFit.
Okay, before CrossFit, were you always into fitness, or did CrossFit bring you into the world of fitness?
I would say CrossFit got me into the world of fitness, but I have been active when I was younger. So let's say when I was a kid, my dad had enrolled me into Taekwondo when I was like about 5 or 6, and I was doing that for about 5 to 6 years. I ended up getting my black belt, and then I stopped doing that because I moved from Carson and went to Apple Valley with my mom. And then when I went to Apple Valley, I got into like boxing for half a year, so that was fun. And then I kind of quit that, and then after that I just never went to sports or even worked out.
So your athletic background pretty much consists of just Taekwondo.
Taekwondo, yeah.
Okay. You didn't join any high school team?
I didn't join any high school team. The only time I ever played sports was Little League stuff, and then when I was
Little League?
I did Little League, like for the park and stuff when I was like 8.
Dude,
9.
that's such like a white thing.
I don't know. We got into it. Played t-ball and stuff, 1A baseball.
Really?
Yeah.
I would never have known.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I tried flag football once. My team got 0 wins. So that kind of went down the drain.
Yeah.
And then I played basketball with my dad at the park. And then as far as other things go, in high school I did skate though. I skated.
Oh, yeah.
I skated.
There you go. See, that's athletic background.
That's pretty, I guess. If I could compare it to my training here, I would say that would be the closest thing, because after school I would spend like 2 to 3 hours just outside trying to just like learn tricks. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you could consider it training, and I mean I was outside in Apple Valley, like high desert weather. It was like, it was fun.
Apple Valley's miserable.
Yeah,
I hate that place.
You've worked there, huh? You have to work for a movie theater over there. Movie theater, you did a air conditioning job for the movie theater I worked at when I was in high school.
Before it became an AMC.
Before I came to AMC, yeah. Yep. I worked there before it was an AMC, and you worked there when it was an AMC. That's pretty funny. Small world. Because you took a snapshot or a Snapchat video.
Snapchat, yeah.
Of in the back where I would take my breaks and have a 10-minute break and stuff.
Aside from like fitness, briefly describe like your childhood, and then your teenage years, and your adulthood. Just like a few sentences each.
Mm-hmm. Childhood, let's say from baby until what?
I would say childhood's like baby till 8th grade. Then teenage would be like high school and on, and then.
Okay. Well, so like let's say, I'll break up my baby toddler years with my childhood, because a pretty big thing happened for me was when I was 1.5 years old, or 18 months, I had heart surgery, open heart surgery for my heart. And what had happened was I finally got the scientific term for it, or the medical term for it, is a tetralogy of Fallot. And basically what it means is there's like, when you're born, there's 4 different things wrong with your heart. So one is like a hole in your heart, and like 2 valves aren't working, and some other thing that I'm not really too sure on. But so they fixed that when I was 1, and they fixed the hole in my heart. So, but now the only thing that I would say that I had as a child was, this kind of goes all the way into my childhood, because until 18, I was regularly seeing, what do you call those heart doctors? Cardiologists?
Yeah, cardiologist.
I was seeing a cardiologist like every year, every few months, just to kind of get my heart checked out, because I had what they called, or what they would describe to me, a leaky heart valve.
Oh, okay.
And so one of my heart valves wasn't working right. And I don't know if it's one or the other, but basically what it's supposed to do is pump oxygen into your body, or oxidate the blood to get the oxygen into your body.
I would say oxidate, because...
So one of those 2 processes wasn't working all the way. So my heart would have to work double time to get enough oxygen in my blood. And I never got it fixed. So to this day, I kind of have the same symptoms as a child, which the easiest way they described to me was, my heart has to work as if, so at rest, basically, my heart is like a normal person jogging.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Not like a super hard jog, but like a
still
light
jogging.
Jog. Yeah, so my resting heart rate, even to this day, as I would say the fittest even the fittest I was, which I would honestly would say is about a year or 2 ago, was like about at an 80 on a good day.
Dang, you had an 80?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness,
doing all this stuff.
Yeah, it's like you warming up.
Yeah. So, I don't think I ever remember having like a below 60 or 60.
Weren't you supposed to get that surgery like 2 years ago? Oh, when you turned 24, 25?
Ever since growing up, they always told me I needed surgery when I was 15.
But
and
I remember...
I was going through the process, but like they would always say like, oh, there's no need to risk it, no need to risk it.
Really?
Yeah, they never saw anything detrimental.
So they're saying screw it, just live like that?
They want me to get it when I'm older, you know, so that way.
How would that benefit you? How would that benefit?
They want to postpone having to do surgery, basically. If I don't need it now, then they don't want to risk having to do surgery. But
they would risk doing it later.
Yeah. So like there's a whole process of that, and now like the whole thing right now is like I'm 26 and don't have insurance.
Still.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Well, that's actually not uncommon. When I hear a lot of podcasts like of athletes and gym owners and of employees, they always say, a lot of them say they don't have insurance. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Well, like one of the people that pops into my head right away is Elijah Muhammad and Jessica Lucero.
Right.
They both don't have health insurance. Her and Christian, and then Elijah Muhammad, I think, I don't know for his family, but for him personally, he said he doesn't have his health insurance. He said is his health, and if he has anything wrong, he goes sees his friend who's a doctor. I'm like, wow, that's a lot of confidence in your health.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing for me, like, health insurance is there for emergencies.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, one day you might get run over. You don't know.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, so like that whole thing honestly connects to why I've been so committed to CrossFit. You know what I mean? Because, like, I remember I said, like, this is the healthiest I've ever felt. It's because, like, growing up, like, so I guess this kind of goes back to my childhood up until, like, 8th grade, even high school years, I've always had, like, constant chest pains growing up. And then, like, even at night or something, it'd be kind of hard to breathe, to kind of calm down, to go to sleep. And it wasn't, like, dramatic. I'm not being, like, it's nothing dramatic, you know what I mean? Like, where I was, like, hyperventilating or anything. It was just, like, it would take me a while to, like, calm down to go to sleep, you know what I mean? Or, like, I would have chest pains when I wake up or before bed or whatever it was. And so that's one of the reasons, like, throughout childhood and high school years, I kind of, like, never pursued fitness. Because, like, even, like, let's say basketball or boxing or something, it's like, I would kind of go with the sport and be like, what's the point? You know?
Yeah.
I'm never going to go anywhere with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't last more than 3 rounds in a boxing ring, in a boxing match, so why am I going to pursue this? So that honestly, that's one of the reasons I quit boxing. And then, so going into like from the childhood, from here to 8th grade, I just went to Carson Elementary School, which is right by the box actually. And then in middle school, I went to Carnegie Middle School, which is actually just down the street from the box too.
Yeah.
And then when I went into 8th grade, I graduated from Carnegie or whatever, promoted from Carnegie into Apple Valley High School. My mom decided to move to Apple Valley for a change of scenery or whatever it may be. It was cheaper housing too.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided I had a choice to either stay in Carson with my dad or move to Apple Valley. Went to Apple Valley because I wanted to just try new things. You know what I mean? Just get away from everything. And I mean, I'm only 8th grade, but, you know, I always wanted to see what's more than just Carson, you know? And to be honest, like, Apple Valley was kind of, like, plain and slow, but to be honest, I enjoyed it. I'm not a big, like, fast-paced guy. I like hanging out. I like chilling.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of fit me pretty well. And I would say my high school years were probably the toughest years for me.
Yeah, personally.
Personally, yeah. To kind of get into that a little bit, I had a girlfriend at the time around sophomore year. We got together around sophomore year, and then my senior year, when we were still together for like 3 years, a year after we graduated too. I kind of like just being a stupid teenager. Like I turned 18, and I just didn't want to take it from my stepdad and mom. And they didn't do it. They didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? That was just me being dumb. And
so cool. I'm an adult now.
Yeah. And then so what happened was, one thing led to another, and I ended up leaving, and I was staying with my girlfriend at the time. Lived with them and her family. That was interesting. Living with like a white family and whatnot. So that was different. And then throughout like senior year, like something happened, and I like honestly like I kind of like fucked up or whatever, and we got kicked out from there. I got kicked out, and then she ended up leaving with me because she's like, I'm not gonna let you get kicked out by yourself. I was like, holy shit. So she had a car at the time, so there's a point in time where we were going from our friend's house, staying at our friend's house from one night to a different night to another night, and then even at some nights we would stay in our car, and we would still go to school and stuff and everything like that. And then
dang, at what 18 you're sleeping in a car?
Yeah. It was a little Honda Civic.
It's a Honda Civic.
Yeah. It was a very interesting time in my life, and then I can't remember the exact timeline of this, but I had a job when I was a junior at the movie theater that we were talking about, and I ended up renting out a room from one of my coworkers. So no more days in staying in there, but like we were living there, and I want to say we were still in high school at the time. So I had my own place, not my own place, my own room with a coworker, and she lived with me, and we were going through high school like that. And at the time, I wasn't talking to my family at all until maybe graduation, when I invited them to my graduation.
Wow.
Yeah. So senior year was probably the roughest time for me, where I was just like kind of like on my own and going through school on my own. I didn't buy a yearbook. I couldn't buy a class ring. I couldn't do anything because all the funds, were just
paying
for rent and stuff, So I couldn't do any high school things. And luckily I had pretty cool, like my ex's parents were pretty chill, and they kind of helped out a little bit with the prom stuff. So I was able to go prom. Right? Yeah, like towards the end they were like a little bit more chill, but I ended up they still weren't like on like super talking terms, like my ex and her parents at the time, but they helped out a little bit with some of the prom stuff. So I want to say that's how the timeline went for all that. And then after we kind of graduated, things went kind of south with us, and we broke up, and I ended up staying there for a while. So I had my own place to myself, which was pretty cool. Which is, I won't lie, pretty badass. Because I was already graduated, I had my own place, and then decided to be smart and decided to move back with my mom because we started getting back on talking terms after I graduated. And then I moved back with my mom, And then maybe about almost a year after I graduated high school, I moved back down to Carson with my dad.
Isn't that crazy? When we're still young adults, but like as a kid, you're like, yeah, you know, they don't know better. I got this. It's my own life. And how it comes back full circle. If you do it right, you end up, you know, back with your family saying, you know, sorry. But it's just crazy. I guess, like, everybody has their own way of doing it. It's not like everybody's going to have an extreme story like that. But there's versions of that of people like, you know, I'm going to move out or I'm going to do this because I know better. Yeah. But you learn as you grow older, like, oh, yeah. So that's why, or that's why they said this, or that's why they said I shouldn't do this. But because you're out of high school now, you have your big boy pants on. You can do everything, but...
And this was like when I was in high school. That's when I turned 18, because I turned 18 in January, which is early in the year of senior year too. So I went through a few months of that. And I mean, everyone at the box knows like my mom, and everyone knows how much I'm like a mama's boy. Yeah. But to be honest, I think it all kind of comes to that because, you know, I kind of put my mom through a lot. Yeah. You know, being her oldest and her first and doing that to her. And yeah. And so it's like, that's why I don't want to take my mom for granted, you know?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, the reason I say my mom too. Yeah, oh yeah. My mom definitely, like, she's awesome. She forgave me and stuff, but still.
Yeah, so people who don't know, you went from sleeping in cars to now being the co-owner of Carson CrossFit. How would you ever have imagined that being, when you're sleeping in a car, that one day, you know, I'm going to co-own a business and I'm going to be pretty much my own boss except for Justin. Like, no, right?
No, I don't. To be honest, I was as lost as any other 18-year-old could possibly, to be honest. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I went to college for maybe a semester, you know, and I didn't like the fact of college. The whole thing about it was I'm going to school to learn something and maybe do something that I want to do and be in debt, and then maybe in the future it's not what I wanted to do. You know, like the whole idea of it kind of just like rubbed me the wrong way. And to be honest, I still didn't know what I wanted to do with life. I really didn't. And again, that kind of comes back to why CrossFit has kind of resonated with me a little bit. It just kind of gave me that purpose that I was looking for, or that what I wanted to do. And the whole reasoning behind that is not because I wanted to go to the games, because I wanted to go to regionals, because I wanted to qualify for the American Open or nationals or whatever it may be. It was because that first year of CrossFit, I fell in love with just trying to be a healthier version of myself. And CrossFit gave me the opportunity to not have chest pains at night, not have a hard time sleeping, not feel like I walk around the mall and I'm out of breath. You know what I mean? And I'm not like a super heavy guy, especially back then. You know what I mean? I was like maybe $130, $140. So I wasn't moving heavy weight around, you know? I'm probably moving a lot more weight now, and I'm not as out of breath I was when I was a little bit younger. And that's what I wanted to do with CrossFit as a coach. And not even a co-owner, I just wanted to be a coach who can spread that kind of joy and knowledge and do what CrossFit, like kind of share what CrossFit did to me, and hopefully that kind of can reach someone else, you know. And then that's why I think I'm here. I'm still here after years, and I'm one of those guys who has a hobby for about a year or two and I drop it. And I've been doing this for 6 years.
So it's thick.
It's here to stay, you know? Yeah, definitely with my passion. Definitely one of my biggest passions ever.
So when I first met you, I had no idea you were a coach. I was like, who is this guy who's going to tell me what to do? Yeah. He doesn't look that fit. Like, he looks all right, but, I mean, how is he going to tell me how to do stuff if, like, I feel like he doesn't look good? And the thing about CrossFit or weightlifting is, like, not about how you look. It's how you perform, how much weight you lift. And getting to know you, you went from, after I got to know you a little better and started working out here, when I was first hanging around, I was like, man, this guy's kind of lazy. He likes to lift, but he's kind of lazy, and like he doesn't like to do anything. He's always on his phone. He doesn't help Dustin out with the business. Dustin's kind of doing everything. I'm like, he just coaches and it just lifts, and that's it. But then there was a turnaround. I think when maybe it might have been before Justin became owner, but I noticed there was a turnaround and you became more like, I want to say, aware and more productive. You went from me seeing you on your phone all the time to me asking where you're at. You're like, oh, I gotta work, or oh, I'm at Green Door working on a program, and you actually started losing weight, and you took your health serious. You look leaner than you have before in the past, and like your training looked different. Everything looked different. You look more productive. You look like you started seeing like an end goal. Like you knew what you were doing instead of just coming in and shooting the shit. Like, just hanging out. You actually were. Now you are doing something, and I think this was before you became co-owner, but I feel like now as co-owner, it's like your ass is on the line. You are in charge of your own paycheck, basically. Yeah. Like, if you don't get this done, nobody's gonna do it for you, and you're gonna be jobless and broke, and that's pretty much it. And Justin's also the co-owner, but he's doing what he can, but you got to do what you can too. Yeah. So it's cool to see that transition from how we were when we were like a few years ago to now, how both of us kind of changed our perspectives, and people have come and gone. Even our friends who were coaches here, we never thought one day that you'd be co-owner and that I'd be interviewing you for a podcast and they'd be gone. We always thought that we're gonna work out, have fun, get slam bars, get PRs, and that's crazy. We used to like train all day and then wait till everybody leaves. We ordered pizza and we played video games. Yeah, that was fun and that was memorable, but that's how we used to be. And
not the wisest thing to do either.
No.
Yeah, and I would say on that note, it's like what kind of turned it around was, when did Dustin decide to sell it? But I would say it was more like on the lines of like, I loved working out and I love coaching, so like why would I do anything else? I put all my everything into learning how to coach better, and that involved, learning more about psychology, learning about social skills, learning about how to talk to people, making them feel comfortable, and not just like coaching, just like getting to know these people or getting to make myself as sociable and comforting as possible. And so that was my main focus. But then after a while, I started, thinking about like, well, what else can I do? I can't just coach all day. And it's like barely minimum wage, Probably a little bit more than minimum wage, to be honest. But I didn't want to be just doing that all my life. And then when Dustin was like deciding to sell the gym, that's when things kind of turned around a little bit. And I was like, shit, like if Dustin sells it to someone that is not from the community or doesn't know me or doesn't like, I could be out of a job. Yeah. And so I decided to up my knowledge a little bit more in the sense of how to run bigger classes or how to run a personal training program, how to run a business type thing. And then I got the news that Justin wants to partner up and then we could work a deal out, stuff like that. That's when things kind of definitely took a turn for, all right, I really need to step my game up a little bit more here. Yeah. So, I was already in the process of it, but then once like those shifts change, like your responsibilities change, the mindset changes a little bit. And honestly, that's why I would say this year would be my least fittest year, was because my mindset was not focused on training, lifting, anything. It was more like, I'm in charge of my own paycheck. Yeah. I'm in charge of my next 5 years. Yeah. If I don't do anything now, I don't know where I'll be in the next 5 years. Yeah. Yeah. So, just doing everything I can to set myself up for a better future. And, if we want to talk about, like from, from childhood to now, like now I kind of see myself as really wanting to cement myself into like the fitness like community in Carson, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or locally or anywhere that may be, is like, I'm talking, like we're trying to improve Carson CrossFit experience a little bit more, making Carson CrossFit the Carson, mecca of fitness for this area. Doing this podcast to kind of get our reach out there a little bit more as a coach or as a person, just trying to share my experiences and knowledge a little bit more. And then maybe even the works, been talking to other people about, like different like nonprofit opportunities, you know what I mean? Working with schools and kids like that, so definitely trying to expand my horizon a little bit more now.
Okay. So in a few words, how would you describe who you were before, who you are now, and how do you see yourself in the future?
What do you mean by before?
Like your past. Like, how would you describe your past self in a few words? Describe your present self in a few words, and describe your future self in a few words.
I would say back in the day I was lost and passionate.
Okay.
And then now I would say passionate and motivated.
Uh-huh.
And then my future self, where I could see myself being in the future, is just working. I feel like I want to always be doing something in the future, and I've kind of realized that as like I've always wondered like what do I want to do growing up, or where do I want to be, and I always hear like, oh, you want to retire, you want to get like a cabin, or you want to live on an island and just like not think about things. But the more I kind of like research or listen to podcasts or think about what I want to be doing, is like I want to be able to own a business or two or whatever it may be. Maybe it's one business that expands to different horizons, and I want to be coaching still, and when I'm older I want to be involved with a community. I always want to be doing something and not necessarily resting.
Okay. All right. That's more than a few words, but
yeah, that'll be more the future. That's more the future stuff.
Yeah.
But I kind of gave a few words from my past and present self.
Yeah. Well, people always say they don't have any regrets. They wouldn't change anything, but there are a few who say they do have some regrets, and so I want to ask, like, your whole life, do you have any regrets besides fitness? It could be fitness, but overall, do you have any regrets?
If I try not to live with too many regrets, like you said, because it has made me become the person who I am now, and I feel like everything I've been through and all that sucky situations I've been through all my life kind of made me the person who I am now. But if I did have one regret, is not trying to be healthy and fit.
Okay.
And that's not just to like promote CrossFit or anything, just because like I said, my situation, you know what I mean? I've definitely went into a realm where I was like a fuck it stage and did a lot of things I shouldn't be doing,
Yeah, we all do.
Probably not gonna, announce all that stuff, but a lot of things that, nobody should be doing. And I feel like if I prioritize my own health, and it would just help me with my self-confidence up a little bit when I was younger, and not bring me to the wrong crowds.
That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I got one more thing here on the board. What is one piece of advice you would give to your past self? One piece of advice.
I would say do what makes you happy and not let anyone else influence that.
That's a good one.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of things that I've put over myself when I was younger.
Yeah. That could resonate with pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
Which, a lot of people do things because it's safe or because it's convenient, rather than what makes them happy, and then they're stuck at work. It could even be a business. Yeah. Like, some people think the only way to happiness is being their own boss. Like, not really. You know, somebody from a third world country would love to have would love to have a fucking desk job from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
That'd be their dream. Like,
happiness is relative.
Job security, 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And all this benefits for my family.
Yeah.
Like, I would love that. And then you got the guy thinking sometimes that owning a business is what's gonna make them happy, and then they get a business and they're miserable. Yeah. So I guess you could say happiness, it's relative, but it's just annoying to keep hearing that, you know, yeah, I quit my 9 to 5 job to own a business. Now I'm happier than ever, but I work a lot. But dude, if everybody owned a business, then who's gonna who's gonna work? Like, yeah. And then when you say that, you have people working under you. They're like, wait, why am I working for this guy when he says that what I'm doing sucks? Yeah. Kind of weird. It's
funny.
That's kind of, I don't know. I don't know why nobody else has said it, but I always thought of that. I'm like, well, you know, if everybody owned a business, then who's gonna buy your stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
Or who's gonna work for you? Whatever.
Happiness is relative.
How much more time we got? Oh wow, we're doing great with time.
What time is it?
We're only like, I think 30 minutes in.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
That's, question. If you could either have the power to teleport or fly, which one would it be?
That's a tough one. Okay, teleport. Do I have to...
No, just, can you teleport or do you fly? There's no if, can I, just pick one.
I'll teleport.
Dude, I would teleport.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Teleport would be cool.
Okay, another one. Would you want to read minds or control them?
I'll say read minds.
That's scary though. Because what if you read something you don't want to hear?
That is true.
Like, your significant other, and like, you just never know what they're thinking, man.
Nah, I would say read minds. It would help my job a little bit more.
True, but you could control minds if somebody says, oh, I'm coming in. Oh, do you want to be a member? You just freaking control it, like, oh, buy membership.
Yeah, but you know, I try to run this place a little bit more integrity. You know? So.
Is there anything you want to say to Carson CrossFit, or to people who are watching this, or like, oh, I never knew that about AJ, or, yeah. So, is there anything you want to say to the fans?
No, man, I love everyone here. You know, everyone treats me as like a person, and honestly, I don't want anything to kind of change just because you know something about my past. And biggest reason why I don't tell everybody about what's gone in my past, because I don't like being looked like I need the sympathy or empathy. You know what I mean? Not because I'm trying to be a hard ass or anything. I just, you know, I feel like I can push myself. I want to be better and stuff like that. But I love every one of you guys. You make this the best job ever, and you are the best community that I've ever been a part of, and definitely the most welcoming community.
Aw. Aw. Anyways, that wraps it up for episode 4 of the Brochachos Podcast. Please do show your support. Like, subscribe, comment. Oh, comment. When you do comment any ideas or any questions or topics you want us to touch on. And please do follow our IG handle, TheBrochachos Podcast. My personal handle is Golden Silva _ and
Alexander _Red Jr. I think that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And our next episode, you know, we did an interview with me, so we'll be interviewing Levi. So for those of you that don't know who that Filipino guy in the corner who's doing muscle-ups so fluidly is, you'll get to know about him a little bit more.
It's going to be fun.
Later.
Deuces.